morning. Welcome to the Parenting versus Podcast.
I thought we already did this intro.
I scrapped it.
Oh.
It was bad.
I thought it was pretty true to the Parenting versus Podcast aesthetic.
Yeah, I could put it in the blooper reel.
We have a blooper reel.
Yeah, it's in my brain somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a little bit. I have a podcast I've yet to edit and post for multiple reasons. Lots of stuff happening in life. Also, I put things off. I get excited and I put things off for a long time. What else? Oh, it's about ADHD, and I don't know if I really wanted to talk about that, but I am.
Well, obviously you did because you made a whole podcast about it.
I made a whole podcast, and then I chickened out because I didn't know if I wanted people, because it was fresh for me.
It's vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think you have to put yourself out there if you're wanting to do that, but it is a certain place of vulnerability. I can't talk to do that, so I get it.
For sure, and we can talk about that later if you want. But I wanted to sort of highlight how important it is to me, and I know to you, to be creative and like to have a creative outlet. Like for me, podcasting, like before podcasting, I wrote a blog.
BP?
BP.
An AP?
Yeah. And I didn't really care if anybody read it. I mean, it was cool. Like if somebody did read it, it would make me happy. I'm like, oh, somebody read it. But then you get scared. I'm like, oh crap, people read that.
Yeah.
But I digress. Creativity, creativeness. Creativity. It feels good.
Gratuitous creativity.
It feels good to be creative. And you've been creative all morning. And
I think if we're going to interweave some of those concepts into this podcast, ADHD, I think a prerequisite for having it is having the need to be creative. Mm-hmm. Most people that I know that are ADHD have at least one or two really creative things that they do, that they put that energy and that interest into. And so I think it makes sense that I need that too. Podcasting is one of those things, but I also make earrings, which for me is just sort of something I do for myself. Like I sell them, which is cool, but that's sort of just like a side note to why I do it, which is hilarious to me.
I can tell when you find so when you're making your jewelry, you find your little corner. Yeah. And everywhere we have lived, you found your little corner. Mm-hmm. When we lived off of
Morningside.
Carlisle and
Morningside.
That was the garage. That's when you started.
Yeah, we had a workshop, which was great.
Did that. You got your little Bluetooth boom speaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you had your corner in Portland. You had
my Discman. I'm just kidding. Lorenzo turns 40 tomorrow, so.
Don't tell people. Yeah, and then our last place, even though we had cramped space, you found your little corner on the breakfast corner with whatever the thing is, and now we have our
tiny little woodworking shop that is kind of a catch-all for that. So
it's great, and nice. I know that when you're in there, you look happy. You're playing music. You're getting all the Lindsay energy that is wound up inside your soul.
Yeah, I'm in this mental space that, for me, is just like hyper creative. And it's just a place to put all my energy. And those things, like there's a couple things that have to happen for that to happen for me. There has to be good music. Mm-hmm. There has to be a dedicated space, like a workspace where I can just like branch out and put stuff places and see it and work with it and, have that space for that stuff.
Yep.
And then there has to be time. And I have to have that time that's, I don't want to say uninterrupted, but I have to have dedicated time.
Yes. I think it does have to be uninterrupted because, so when you're in the middle of that zone, I don't know if it's the same for you, but if I'm in the middle of that zone, I'm getting going and the creativity, the juices are flowing.
I knew you were going to say that.
So did I.
I knew you were going to say that.
So did I. I don't know why I did, but either way, your momentum is going.
I think that's what it is. It's like a creative momentum, and then you don't want to slow it down when you're when it's like the peak of it.
Yep. And if somebody breaks your OODA loop, you're what?
I'm sorry, is that a scientific term?
Your OODA loop?
God, don't say that. That makes me so uncomfortable. I don't know why either.
Look it up.
I don't want to. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I'm pretty sure it's a thing.
That sounds like a no-no word. Like It's like something you teach your kids in place of like another word.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Somebody broke your OODA loop.
Stop it.
Let's see. OODA
God,
loop.
I'm a grown ass woman and I can't handle like funny words still.
Yeah. The OODA loop. It's an acronym.
Don't look at me.
It's a military thing.
Oh.
Observe, orient, decide, act. Your OODA loop.
That sounds really official. Military.
Yeah.
Good job. You guys did it.
I think I don't know. Either way. So
Wow. Okay. Learned something today.
yeah.
Now I'm curious to know, like, if nobody knew what that word meant and you just said it and you didn't give them any context, like, what would they assume, right?
They'd probably chuckle just like you did.
I still am. Uh-oh.
Oh, that was my phone.
Oh, no.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I'm in that creative space and zone, and I'm not going to say the O word.
Yeah.
And it is hard for me to stop, and I sort of just need that. And I think it's just funny to me because the things that I like to do are like multifaceted. I like to figure out systems. Some people are very tech savvy and they like to figure out those systems. Other people like to build with their hands. I like to figure out the creative process and then how to market that creative process so that I have something tangible. So money. And it's just kind of funny because money is never the goal. Like that's never the main objective for me. It's like a byproduct of the process. And I enjoy the process more than I enjoy like the outcome of money. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Like I enjoy solving that problem and figuring out like how am I going to do that. And so this morning, in true ADHD fashion, my hyper focus has gone into print on demand artwork. And so I've been trying to set up I did set up like an Etsy shop, and I've been trying to figure out like how to make it work and like what the best way to go about doing that is, and like what do I want to do with it? How do I want to structure it? What's the most effective? This, that, and the other. So it's just like solving a big equation for me.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. So I was like way into that this morning.
Yeah, I could tell. No, it feels good too. To just have that sort
It's like something tangible at the end that I can look at and be like, yeah, I built this. Like the other day, I think I maybe freaked out my coworker a little because we had this thing called an employer summit, and this employer came, and I won't name names, and they were talking about how these damn millennials, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And he's talking about those damn millennials and those Gen Zers and how, you know, like they have no work ethic and this and that and the other, and they're all narcissists because they love technology. And I was just kind of like, first of all, fuck you. But also, I mean, I didn't say it, but you know.
You just got up in the middle of the conference.
Fuck you, sir. Yeah. No, I was just kind of like offended for like 2 entire generations of people. And I was like, this is a little bit unfair that you're saying this. It seems to me like maybe you have a very narrow-minded view of what you think you know.
I think that's true. They probably, I mean, I don't know, assumptions, but.
Yeah. So I went on, and for the next 2 days, I wrote a grant addressing that problem and like creating a training program to educate employers on how to retain and attract millennial and Gen Z talent. Like, this is how my brain works. I'm like, I'm going to solve that problem right now on paper.
Yeah.
And so I like wrote a grant, and then I gave it to my mentor / supervisor, and I was like, here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it's just, I was definitely in the zone a lot this week.
No, it's good.
Sorry, that was a lot.
It's fine. I'm wondering, can we relocate to the shade in a minute? I'm just, you're burning, and I'm, I don't know, heating up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We don't have to if you don't
That's
want to.
fine.
All right. We're going to relocate real quick.
Relocate? Why do you put like an emphasis on that?
What did I say?
Relocate?
Relocate?
We're going to relocate?
Yeah. So I'm going to pause real quick. Okay.
Mow the lawn. I meant to vacuum the world.
I need to vacuum the
You
world.
need to vacuum the earth.
All right, we're relocated.
Okay.
But yeah, creativity. I think it's great. We have some creative friends I wanted to kind of, I guess, admire.
Pay homage
Yeah.
to.
So I have a Dungeons and Dragons night.
This is how you're going to start this conversation?
Yes, I have a
No.
Dungeons and Dragons night, and
Like an evening, not like a night in
yeah,
shining armor.
it's an evening. Yeah, it's 2 hours every Wednesday.
Yeah.
I log on to the computer, and my character's name is Narcion, and I got the name Narcion because I'm listening to the book. I'm listening to the book. What's it called? Rodolfo Anaya, Bless Me Ultima. Bless Me Ultima, which was required reading for at least New Mexico kids in the 11th grade, I think, but I don't know if it is anymore. Either way, there's a character in the book whose name is Narciso, and I wanted my Dungeons and Dragons character to have that name, but I asked AI to make it sound more like fantasy-ish or whatever, so it named it Narcion. But everybody just thinks it sounds like the drug that first responders give to
Narcan?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we played Dungeons and Dragons, and Sean, my good buddy of a very long time, he is very creative. He draws. He's an artist. Like he draws digital art of people and different sort of landscapes and things like that. So he's fantastic. He also makes board games, and he's the dungeon master. So he has to come up with the story. So it's very, it's a very creative thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So proud of you at 40 that you can have that.
And
I'm not joking either. I'm not trying to even be pretentious. I'm just simply saying
okay.
I think it's good that at 40 you can
Yeah.
have that, because I think that we forget how to be creative as we get older. And if you don't exercise that creative muscle, you
Yeah.
lose it and you become angry and grumpy. And then you really lose your shit and you end up moving to Florida to the villages, look it up,
Yeah.
and it's like not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
It is not natural for me to play Dungeons and Dragons. You have to pretend, and you have to like get into your character, and you have to like, so it's not easy for me, but it's coming along. And I did something pretty bad last week.
Uh-oh. What do you mean pretty bad?
Well, I didn't. So I'm still trying to get my bearings about me after 2 years of playing. A year. We're in year 2. But my character sheet, which I had AI kind of help me write, he's a paladin, and so he's like a righteous warrior. Like I think has like religious sort of background kind of thing. But the character sheet that had AI help me write says that he despises goblins because they're inherently evil or something like that.
Wow.
So,
like, are we? This is a whole thing, huh?
well, I just have to get this out of my brain.
Okay. All right. That's
So within our play, we went to this bar. Our whole crew went to this bar, and the barkeep is a goblin,
oh,
and
shit.
and I said,
I can see the drama unfolding like right now.
yeah. So
Sounds serious.
I said,
So I says.
so I said,
So I says to him. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
is the Brooklyn housewife coming out? No. So we started to like confront this barkeep because he was like he gave vibes of like he wasn't really trustworthy and this and that, and I said
What
it.
was your presupposition about him?
Well, that's what I said. My character, or I said through my character, I said I despise goblins, and everybody's like, "Whoa, that's racist," or something. You know what I mean? Because
To a race that doesn't exist, but okay.
yeah, well, I mean,
understand the parallels. Yeah. Sure.
yeah. So you can't lump up a whole race, even if it's like fantasy. And I'm learning things like that, even though I don't
Haven't
know.
you ever watched Star Trek before? I mean, I'm pretty sure they talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just
So-
saying that's a thing.
So I didn't. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Either way, moving on from that. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, we have another guy on our team. on our team.
Is he a new guy?
No, he was the dungeon master last year. It's Danny.
Oh, it's Danny.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Oh, it's a
This
hummingbird.
hummingbird is like hanging out with us.
He's doing it like a figure 8.
Buddy, what are you? Are you high?
I think that might be like a mating dance. He's like flying in a figure 8.
Oh, he's so impressive too.
Yeah. So,
Alert, ladies.
yeah, check it out. It's like, look at my moves.
I know.
Yeah, so Danny he's getting his podcast going,
Yeah, I know. He mentioned that.
and he recorded me an interview a while back. I want to say like 2 years back. It's before COVID, and COVID kind of dashed those plans for him. But he's back on it, and he's gonna post some podcasts. It's kind of like a People of New York sort of thing, but in Florida where he lives.
Maybe
So-
he should go to Celebration, and he should also go to the Villages.
Yeah. Well, we did go there when he was there.
We went to the Celebration. We went to Celebration, but the Villages is like, ugh. Sorry, the smoke
We'll smoke.
from the barbecue is like,
Yeah. I got the coals heating up. I'm gonna grill myself a little burger.
wow.
Green
Have a nice little Saturday.
Had a nice little Saturday.
Dude, sometimes the things that come out of my mouth, it's like they come out of my mouth, and then in my brain, I'm like, why? Why did you say that? Has that ever happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like your brain is like, don't say it, and then your mouth's like, gonna say it.
All the damn time.
Yep, gonna say it. Okay.
So, but yeah, Danny's getting his podcast going. Who else do we know is creative? Your brother has books, and is he still writing?
I guess so.
I don't know. Hit us up, Ryan. Are you still writing?
My friend Gio has a band.
Yeah.
She's playing tonight, actually.
They're called the Go Get 'Ems.
Yep, she's playing at Echoes downtown.
I want to check them out.
Yeah, I do too. I
We're
feel bad
just
'cause
like
we
old people.
Haven't been able to do much.
We
'cause
tried to go to one of her shows, and
We got tired.
we genuinely gave it the true college try. We went to,
What does that even mean, by the way? I don't even know what that means.
because I guess people in college try, except for me. I actually I did try. I tried really hard. I
Still
struggled. I
trying, so
struggled.
there's that.
Yeah, but no, like we got childcare. We got like my parents to watch the kids for the night, and we're like, yes, we're gonna go to we're gonna go to Gio's show, the Go Get 'Ems.
Like 8 o'clock rolls around.
Yeah.
We're like, well, it's pretty late.
Well, it was like 9.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 9. We're at Gecko's, which I don't think I want to go there anymore. But anyways, we went to Gecko's. I don't even think I had a beer. I had no beer. I had a Dr. Pepper.
I had like 3 Dr. Peppers. So I was trying
Yeah.
to get myself like
Yeah,
to stay
like,
awake.
sugared up.
I'm like, just keep it going, keep it going. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Though for real, like.
Yeah, had some green chili stew, and we really tried. But at the end of our meal and our 3 Dr. Peppers, we're just like, yeah, it's like 9, and the show starts at 11. So
So we're gonna.
what do you think? And like
just
I think we
probably-
we give in to the tiredness, and it's hard.
I think it's a hard struggle because like as a parent, you're like, I could either go out and like be extra tired tomorrow when I get my kids if I stay up too late, or because I don't have my kids, I can like watch a nice little show or a movie, and then I can get some solid uninterrupted sleep and feel refreshed. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think at this point you'd kind of just always opt for the good sleep. I can't talk.
Yeah.
There's like a plane up there and another one over there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I'm always like, God, I can't breathe with this smoke.
Oh, sorry. It'll stop in a
I'm
second.
gonna smell like a damn campfire.
No, you won't.
Then I'm gonna have to shower again.
Once the
today.
coals get hot, the smoke goes away.
Oh my God. I feel bad for the birds that are trying to mate in this yard right now. You're like smoking them
They're
out.
getting smoked out.
God.
But no, that's true. Like that night, I don't know what show we were watching, but I'm like, I could watch a show. Like right now, we're watching, what is it? Beef. Which is
We're
really
watching Beef, and we're watching Boardwalk Empire finally.
good. Yeah. So, but yeah. So sorry, Gio. We really tried.
We suck, and I'm sorry.
And we're gonna hopefully someday.
So one of these days. So I hope she has a good show tonight. Echoes is the Old Bird's Tiki Lounge rip.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So
I didn't know
it's-
they opened that place.
Yeah,
back
it's a
up.
brewery now. It's called Echoes, my dude.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what's up, and I would like to check out that venue sometime
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
creatives, we salute you.
we salute you. Good job being creative, creatives.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up the creativity.
Yeah. What else is going on?
My feed for my news app is like, this person's using Ozempic. So is this person.
What is
They're
that?
so skinny.
What's Ozempic?
It's a, I forget the technical. It's like a something, a glitude. I don't know. It's for people with diabetes. It's for diabetics to help with their blood sugar. But they realized that one of the effects of taking it, if you don't have diabetes, is that it helps you lose a lot of weight.
Oh, dang.
However,
Pause. Can I wanted to shout one more creative.
yeah,
So,
Lady Gaga.
yes, Lady Gaga, she just puts it all on the line every single night, and nobody knew she was a classically trained pianist. So,
Meat dress.
yes, meat dress. So, no, back in the days to work with Lucas, and he's now in Oregon making knives,
Nice.
Which-
That sounds very Oregonian of
which
him.
are super awesome knives.
What are they called?
I'm
Shout
not
it out.
I'm not sure. I think from browsing, so I'm not like a knife expert, but
They cut things. That's what I
yeah,
know.
they cut things.
Sometimes you can put them in your pocket.
But been watching what I think is the Instagram channel of his podcast partner, which he also has a podcast, and I listen to it, and it's awesome.
Word.
Because even though I don't understand knives completely, I am very fascinated with like business process.
Wouldn't it be
and,
weird
like,
if you were like, I don't understand knives completely, but I do understand you, Lucas.
yeah.
You're like, but I love him. I want to know all about you.
Oh,
I started watching that show. It's called You,
yeah.
and it's won some awards, and it's like a guilty pleasure of mine, and it kind of reminded me of that. Sorry.
Yeah. Isn't that what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix?
Nope.
Oh,
Not even close.
I was thinking that was Joaquin Phoenix where he like
No.
had that weird
You're
relationship.
thinking of the movie Her,
Her. Okay, yeah.
but no, not the same thing.
Okay. Nice. Well, anyways,
Yeah,
yeah.
what
So
about your friend Gage too?
yeah, he from back in the day, back in the church days. Yeah, he was in a band or is in a band. I know for sure was in a band called To Speak of Wolves, which is like hardcore screaming guitars, drums. You know that music if you want to like bump up your mile time when you're running, it's great. Gage is Gage is the screamer, and he also makes hats out of which I think are beaver pelts, and he's in Nashville.
He's in Nashville and he makes hats for like really famous people, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, on his Instagram, it's like, oh yeah, such and
Met
such.
Willie Nelson today. Oh, okay, cool. Gage.
Yeah.
Neat.
So shout out Gage.
And his hats. What
yeah.
are they called so that people can
It's
support?
I think it's called the Daisy Hat Company.
Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
I think that Daisy May.
Daisy May, yeah.
Daisy May hat.
And
Co?
the
I
hats
think
look
that's what it
amazing.
is.
They are so far out of my price range for anything really, but he has some other cool merch. His logo is like a bunny smoking a cigarette, which is pretty cool, and the ball cap looks pretty sweet.
So you can find them on Instagram at Daisy May with a Y Hat Co.
Yeah, and look at Burnley Knives too.
Burnley Knives.
Yeah, Burnley Knives.
Yeah. So you can get a really sick knife from the Pacific Northwest, and then you can get a really sick hat from Nashville.
Yep.
And then your street cred will go way up. You
Right.
can start a band.
Yeah.
Change your life.
There you go. Have a
Change your
knife.
freaking life.
I did get a couple of knives off of Goodwill, the website. One was made by the Columbia River Knife Company, which I think, and correct me if I'm wrong,
I will.
internet, but I think Lucas's knives were picked up by them. I don't know how the business world with the knives work, but
You're not in the knife game?
I'm not. But does the Columbia River Knife Company, do they then take creators?
I literally
Products?
know nothing about that.
I guess I'm asking a rhetorical question.
Okay, I'm like,
do they
just because
take?
I'm from there doesn't mean I know anything about that.
Yeah. Do they take creatives' work and then kind of sell it under their reach, their umbrella, and maybe like take a cut and also stamp their logo on it? I don't know how that works. His knives look freaking slick though.
So Daisy May Hat Co. has a podcast called Daisy May Chat Co.
Dang, I didn't even know that.
Daisy May Chat Co.
Oh heck yeah.
So there you go. You
So
guys
check it out.
can support. They're off of Anchor.
Yeah.
Follow Gage as he pours Black Rifle coffee for big names in fashion, music, and well, whoever else will show up in the hat shop around 7:30 p.m.
Neato. So yeah, check these folks out. And Yeah, it's fun times.
Yeah. It's super cool. And I'm going to shout out a creative here locally, a new friend, because I like making new friends. Everybody knows that about me. And I love making new creative friends. But I wanted to shout out Charles.
In charge?
He is in charge of his own coffee shop here in Albuquerque. Nice joke, huh? But
Uh-huh.
and it's called Burning Daylight Coffee. And I've been hanging out with Charles for a couple months now, off and on. He's my dude. It's cool because he has his coffee shop, and I go in there and just chill. And like, I used to have a '57 Siesta trailer.
Are you comfortable enough yet to call him Chuck?
Not yet. I'm gonna ask him if that's cool though later. He's gonna be on the podcast on What's Up ABQ. So
Nice.
at that point, I'm gonna be like, Charles, can I call you Chuck? Or Charlie? I don't know. See money.
Charles has some really cool nicknames.
Yeah.
Charlie, Chuck. Anyways, go ahead.
Chaz.
Yeah.
C-Dub. C-Money. C-Joint, if you're feeling crazy.
Dang.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just pulling it out of my ass.
Okay.
But so I had a '57 Siesta trailer, and it was sitting. My plan was to revamp it and actually turn it into a coffee trailer, and I just like literally never got around to it. Okay, you're gonna laugh at my
Don't judge me.
Nacho Libre joke too. So one day, I know his sister also, but one day I was like randomly like, okay, I barely know this guy. I've met him a couple times. I noticed he had a little coffee trailer thing, and I was like, hey man, do you want another trailer? And he was like, are you serious? And I was like, I am dead serious, like as a heart attack. Come and get it. Because it's just sitting in my in-laws' yard, and it just something needs to be done with this thing. And he has the capital and the time and the energy to do it. And so he was super stoked, and he came and got the trailer. And it makes me feel really good that it's going to become a coffee trailer and like fulfill its destiny.
It's duties. It's priestly duties.
Yeah, because that was the plan from the beginning. And so it's really cool that it's like actually going to happen. So Charles gives me free coffee because I gave him a trailer. So I have like free coffee for life, which is great. So I go in there, I shoot the shit with Charles when I need a break from work.
Where is it?
It's off of Manal. It's inside the Family Thrift Center. It's got a separate entrance.
Manal.
It's by our old neighborhood, actually.
Off Manal.
I can take you there.
Well, tell me. I'm just trying to visualize it right now. Manal by the Family Thrift Center.
The Family Thrift Center.
By St. Vincent de Paul?
Kind of, across the street.
Across the... Oh, yeah. The indoor flea market.
Yeah. His parents own that, so their family owns that. Mm-hmm. And they built out the coffee shop as part of it inside.
Oh, cool.
And Charles was telling me that he would like to build out a little corner so that we can come and use it for podcasting. And I'm like, sweet, dude. That's awesome. So we have this like really cool creative collaboration kind of relationship right now. And I just like want people to go support his coffee and his business because he's a cool dude. And he is also a parent. So you guys, if you're in Albuquerque, should definitely go to Burning Daylight and support Charles because he is the best.
Nice. Burning Daylight.
Burning Daylight.
There you go.
And good. Soon my trailer will be out there serving coffee to the masses. It'll be a couple months, but...
Where?
Just wherever it's booked.
And he has a trailer already, right?
He does. But they're having issues because they need more than one to be at all the events that they're getting scheduled for. So that's a great problem to have.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
supporting those creative, I guess, I get that. Doing a business requires creativity and creativeness.
It does. Well, the crazy thing is he used to be, I'm sorry, I'm talking about this person on my podcast. He used to be, he used to work for the, he used to be a narcotics agent in southern New Mexico.
Dang.
And I guess that was pretty stressful. And he's like, kind of don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool that you can make that kind of a transition if you really put your mind to it.
Yeah. No, that's good. Shout out Charles.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be nice to see that trailer being used. We I think started to visualize it, and then somebody said, "Oh no, your trailer doesn't meet like health code standards or something." We're just like, "Oh," we didn't like research it. We just were like, "Oh, okay." But anyways, doing all right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did you get a sell on your stuff?
I don't know what this is. I don't know.
Do you want to talk about what your new venture is, or not quite yet?
Not yet.
Okay. It's a secret.
I think this is a bot,
Oh.
but I'm going to say, hi, how can I help you? Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm making items on my Etsy site. I'm trying to get everything posted. Etsy seems basic, but I'm doing it sort of in a different way with a different spin, and I'm not going to say what that is because I don't want to give myself away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm looking to make a side hustle, and I would like to eventually work for myself. I realize like right now it's a far fetch, but I don't know. I'm
Gotta start somewhere.
pretty tired of case management, if we're being honest, and
Yeah.
I'm looking to make that transition. And there's a couple of options that may be around in the mid to near future, depending.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. The 9 to 5 sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it doesn't suck. I mean, I'm happy to have
I think
work.
the commute kind of sucks for you.
Yeah, commute sucks. And sometimes just like the pressure of work and everything else, and I don't have time to sort of get the energy that I need to get released to be released. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there just needs to be a balance, and it's interesting and it's funny. Like
Well, I wanted to ask you a question too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this as I was.
Sirens all of a sudden.
Oh, that's just Albuquerque. I was thinking about this on my run, and I hope this is merging into what you were just going to say because I don't want to cut you off. But I was thinking about this on my run, and I was thinking about the things that really make me happy, what I'm passionate about, and what I can just spend hours doing. I was just thinking about those things.
Yeah.
And I can talk about those too, but is that what you're going to mention?
Kind of.
Okay, go ahead.
Sort of, but not totally.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was talking to one of my managers this last week, and she had asked if we could have a meeting, and I hate when people do that because I'm like, just tell me what it's about. Like, am I in trouble?
She's like, welcome to the meeting, Lindsay. You're fired.
I just think about like all the worst. Everybody does. Like, you don't ever approach somebody say, we need to talk later, and they don't say why. Like, that's the worst. Don't do that to people. And I knew I wasn't in trouble, but at the same time, like my mind still went there, even though, and I was just anxious all day. But anyway, so she was talking to me and she's like, so what is the goal for you? Like, what's your professional goal? And she's like, do you want to be CEO one day? Like, do you want to climb the ladder? And I literally deadpan looked at her and I was like, no. I was like, I literally want balance. I want balance in my life and my job.
Yeah.
I want the flexibility to be able to be a parent and do it well and not be stretched thin and also do my job well and know that my employer knows that the work will get done. It may
You
not
probably
be
blew her mind.
traditional.
I think there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I just want to climb that ladder and blah blah blah, and I don't know.
I'm not out to run a damn like company.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I'm not
but
out
you're
to,
like
be a
I
CEO.
just want to love what I do and have a balance. Like
I just want to live my life.
That's what I
And,
want.
no, for real. Like that's the end game. Like, and it's funny when older generations, because she's slightly older than me. She's probably like Gen X. And I don't know that they quite understand. And I guess maybe I have more of a millennial perspective on this, probably. But I don't care about titles either. Like, I don't want to be the vice president to the CEO of the blah, blah, blah committee. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I literally don't care what my title is. That's not the point. The point is you pay me a living wage and I can be a good person.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can balance my mental health.
Yep.
And I can have time to live my life and I can do my job, because when you have time to live your life and you're balanced, you do your job better too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I don't think older generations really get that. They were told you need to go to college and work your way up in a company. And that's, that's fine. It's not good or bad. I just think that the work ethic in terms of like mentality and what's important to us has changed, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny because I've been asked twice this week, like, if I want to like move up in the company and like, what's my end game? And I'm literally like, the end game is I have a balanced life and I'm happy.
Right.
That's the end game.
Yeah.
And I don't think people know what to do with that.
Yeah, I think those things are high on the priority list. I think for me too, I do want to, I struggle with this because I don't want to be a person that like wants a ton of money, but I want enough money that I don't have to worry about stuff, and I can like
Like, you're not going to default on your mortgage if for some reason you miss a couple days of
yeah,
work.
and I want to have a mortgage.
Right.
Like we have a mortgage now, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's been almost a decade where we were just like, we want a house, we can't get a house. This kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks a lot, and we just were sort of wandering and trying to figure out like, what do we do? And now we do, but it just I don't know. It just you have to work in order to
Right.
get the things, and it would be nice if the work that you had to do to get the things was also something that provided you some sort of like
Purpose or meaning.
yeah and satisfaction with like
Satisfaction.
with because you have to be there every damn day.
It should provide you a sense of like quality of life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think is the problem with America is like, first of all, like,
Let's start with the problems with
no,
America.
no, like housing should be a right. That's a fundamental right. Whether
Yeah.
you buy or you rent, you should be able to afford housing, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like, that's not a non-negotiable. Like that just should happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You should pay people a living wage so that they can afford basic rights like housing.
Yep.
If there's not enough housing, you should create innovative solutions to make sure people have housing.
Yep.
And like, it's just, and then you should make it sustainable. Like you should make it so that, guess what? If the price of things go up, they're not going to be kicked out on their asses on the street. Like,
Yeah.
and this is just me coming from my line of work. I've seen so many people who have come out of retirement because of COVID, because somebody raised the rent on them and now they can't afford where they've lived for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Their cost of living went way up and they can't afford it. And now not only are they struggling to get by, they're under poverty level. And also there's not enough housing to where they can go find something affordable. And they've been out of the workforce, so their skills are not like up to date. So they've got all these things working against them. And it's like, what do we do? What do we do with that? How do we help that
That's
situation? And we should. Sorry, I get really pissed.
No, it's crazy.
Like, I see these people every day and I'm just like, I get really mad and I get really tired of like, you know, having somebody who's like my grandma, like telling me they had to come out of retirement because their savings wasn't enough. And now, you know, they haven't worked for 20 years
Right.
and they don't know how to do certain things and nobody will hire them.
Yeah. And this is happening in Albuquerque. I
Right.
mean,
Which tells, and we, yeah.
and there's cities like where we moved to and from real quick, Portland, where it's just nutty.
Yeah. Well, the gap
Yeah,
is just
and-
wider.
I mean, the West Coast, up and down the West Coast.
The gap is just
like
wider.
San Diego, Los Angeles, all the way up to Seattle, just like crazy.
Hey, Luke,
What's up, buddy? Why are you smiling?
what are you up to? You have a guilty conscience. I can see it on your face. What are
Yep. Our son is.
Set up a nasty prank for Riley and Julia.
Oh,
don't
I just
do
hope it
anything
doesn't
mean to
cause
So,
a mess.
I hid the little scorpion in between the cushions.
You're mean.
So they're gonna feel a poking, and then one of them's gonna look and then scream.
You're mean, dude.
our
Our bro,
our buddy,
our son,
our son.
our oldest.
He likes to troll.
He also turned 11 recently.
Yeah, and he's finishing up 5th grade, but I meant to tell him that he's not done with his elementary school quite yet because the summer program is going to be at his elementary school. So, anyways, yeah,
My stomach is like growling really loud.
probably because you're hungry.
It's all
So I got that grill going. I'm going to grill some burgers
okay.
and some
Can we
chicken.
I think we should just have chicken.
I'm going to have myself a burger.
I think you should just have chicken.
I want a burger. I've been
Oh,
thinking about this
okay.
all day. I'm going to put
I
some
mean, you're definitely gonna have burgers.
I'm gonna do the Jeremy Hohola recipe, which I've seen him post on his Instagram.
Okay.
Shout out creativeness, Jeremy Hohola.
Creative burgers.
No, he on his Instagram he did a patty, and then the secret is you put the green chili on top of the patty, and then you put the cheese on top, so the
that it
cheese
melts and then
melts
it-
over the green chili, and it's just like a little green chili
You didn't
surprise.
know that?
Um,
Even I knew that. That's how we cook them at John Dee's.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I guess a lot of people just put the green chili on top of the cheese.
No,
So whatever.
no.
I'm also smiling because I saw this video where this guy photoshopped NBA players in the background
Mm-hmm.
of his Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
See if anyone realized. It was so funny. He did Steph Curry, and someone's like, "Yo, is that Curry?"
Yeah. Our kids have been retelling us YouTube videos all week. The toothbrush one.
Yeah.
Is this your toothbrush? It's bone dry.
I hate that stupid video. For the love of God.
I know.
So, all right. I think I'm going to make some lunch. We're going to pause and break if that's okay with you, unless you had other things to say.
No, I'm going to go take care of some stuff. And I think our other kids are due back here in about 5 minutes.
Okay. And we'll record the second half of the podcast, which I'm going to give the precursor, is going to be a intro for the What's Up ABQ podcast, which we are rebooting for the second time. We've got some guests lined up, some great folks. So the second half of this podcast is going to be the recording that we're going to send over to Paul, who
You don't
is.
need to tell everybody all
I know. I
this.
just sometimes I just have to like say the things that are on my mind for I don't know why, but I just do. Yeah, well, I'm gonna write an email, compose an email, and
Okay,
then
I'm leaving.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna send that over to Paul, and
I'll wrap it up.
Hey, Mom.
all right, we'll be back.
Help us with your
Constellations of stars, they only lead to where you are, dear Dorian, dear
All right, we're back, and there's kids. We're in the backyard talking about dogwood trees, and we're not going to do the What's Up ABQ portion, like I said before the break.
Can
But
you imagine? We're like, hey, Albuquerque. I actually had a dream about how we could intro the other podcast last night.
did you?
Yeah.
Sometimes dreams have the best ideas.
We're open today. We're open today.
Okay, your restaurant is open today. That's excellent. Please don't dip that in the bird fountain.
So
This young man looks like a good customer, so ask him what he wants for breakfast. He's working for you. I love it.
all right, parenting. I got to let the
Got
daughter in.
A female-owned restaurant in our backyard. I love it. Woman-owned and operated. And her brother is helping out. Yeah. What are you doing, sir? What's your job at the restaurant?
To clean it.
To clean it. Is she paying you pretty good?
Yeah, she pays me. She pays me $100 every 2 hours.
Nice. Can I get that job? Hook it up. All
Yeah.
right. $100 every 2 hours. $50 an hour. It's more than I'm making.
Took us a bit to get that math, huh?
This cup of coffee is only half. I almost said drunken.
Drink.
Drank. I don't know. Yeah, I've only had half my cup of coffee.
Yeah. So what's new with you?
I mean, I just woke up, so it's hard to say. Had some good bacon this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Costco. I'm all about the Kirkland. I might take a trip this weekend.
I'm all about that Kirkland bread, man.
Yeah, I'm 40. So
I'm 40 years old.
what's funny is you shared that clip from
SNL.
No, it's the clip from the movie that was really popular in our early 20s with Will Ferrell.
There's so many of them.
I know. They're in college and Will Ferrell
Oh,
goes
yeah,
back to
yeah,
college.
yeah. God, why can't I think of the name?
I don't know.
I can see the picture. I can see the picture of the.
Yeah.
Now I want to watch it. Where he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is gonna be a nice little Saturday. And now I'm like, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, might go to Home Depot. I don't know if we have enough time.
It's true though, and it's funny because that movie, like now, I think that's why I want to rewatch it because we watched it in our 20s when we were like the age of the students, and we were like, man, these old ass people are lame and old, and it's funny. And now I would love to watch it and be like, oh, we are those lame old ass people.
I don't think we're lame.
We're still pretty old.
Yeah, I'm 40.
40 years old.
Yeah.
I showed my cousin, who just turned 26, the skit from Molly Shannon where she's like, I'm 50 years old.
Oh yeah.
It's Sally O'Malley. And that's like OG Saturday Night Live, like for us anyway. And she just kind of was like, oh, I've never seen this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I forgot that there's like a point of reference that you probably don't get about this.
Sherry O'Terry? Oh, I love Sherry O'Terry. Sherry O'Terry and Molly
It's
Shannon.
Molly Shannon.
Oh, I thought you said Sherry O'Terry.
No, Molly Shannon.
Why did I? What?
Same era.
No, but those two together, like the weirdness, is just Don't
It's-
they do the NPR, or is that Anna Gasteyer?
I think that's Anna Gasteyer. There's always like these female dynamics in SNL that there's always like a pair of females that just kind of dominate that whole like season. It was like, like Molly Shannon and Anna Gasteyer, and then it was Tina Fey and Amy Poehler for a while. You know what I mean? Like you just have that.
And then after
dynamic.
that, it was the other lady who got really famous and started making movies, blonde, and she did the Lawrence Welk with the little hands. What's her?
Yeah, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah,
the
she
best.
didn't have a pair, did she?
She kind of is her own thing, and that's what I love about her. She's
Pretty funny.
But she also, like, I think the thing about Kristen Wiig that's really cool as an actress is that she can play off of other comedians. Like, she gets at their level and then she infuses her own weirdness, and it's a good dynamic with whoever she's working with. She just kind of morphs a little,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But anyway, so I showed my cousin that clip, and of course there was some cultural references that were lost because she's a lot younger. I was like, oh yeah, when this came out, you were like just born, so okay. But she's like,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool because she's like, 50's not that old though. And I was like, thank you, Amanda, for saying that.
Well, I was just thinking about you referencing like 90s SNL to your cousin and how she doesn't get it. And it's the same for us with SNL of the 70s.
Yeah.
There's like, you have, what was
There's like Steve Martin and Chevy Chase. I
Yeah.
mean, some of it's
No,
funny.
but who's
there's,
the woman that was like the first sort of female legend of SNL, and she did that one skit.
It's always something.
Yeah, she had the
Gilda Radner?
Yeah,
She married my man, by the way.
who's your man?
Gene Wilder, the original Willy Wonka. Love
But
him.
I watched that skit and I'm like, I don't understand this.
You're swimming in a fish's toilet.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, is that it? Is that the shtick?
And
Like,
then-
that's the joke?
Yeah, and then they do a skit. Steve Martin and I think basically the three amigos.
Yeah.
They do a skit. We're wild and crazy guys.
Pretty wild and crazy. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I get the funniness. I think in the 70s, there was still an element of, like, slapstick that was, like, acceptable and funny to people. Like, now, when I see slapstick, I'm like, it's kind of dumb. But I feel like back then, I say it like it's such a long time ago. I feel like in the 70s, though.
It was 60 years,
Oh, my God.
50,
Ah.
because we're 40.
I don't know. I don't want to.
So
No,
70,
you're 40.
73 would have been 50.
Correction, you're 40.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah.
I'm still a spring chicken in my 30s.
Yep.
I told an 80-year-old man yesterday that he was a spring chicken, by the way. And then I was like, who am I?
I wrote "As the Crow Flies" in my official analysis that's going to be on state records.
Excellent. No, this old man was like, oh, I'm 87. I was like, oh, you're still a spring chicken. And then I was like, who says that?
So, yeah. So, I don't know. But
No, I just think slapstick was still a thing back then that was like kind of like predominant in comedy.
yeah, like Jim Carrey in, what was the one that was on
All of
Fox?
them?
No, Jim Carrey started on, crap, what was that name? Jennifer Lopez got her start on that show.
Not in Living Color.
Yeah, in Living Color.
Was it?
Yeah, he was the fireman Bill or whatever, Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, wow. I forgot about that. In Living Color. Wow.
Yeah, when I was a
The
kid.
Fly Girls. I forgot about that.
And when I was a kid, it was very common or popular, I guess, for like the bully in your kid to say, "Homie, don't play that," and like slap you across the head.
I remember that phrase. Like, I do remember that. I remember seeing bits and pieces of In Living Color, like on TV when I was a kid. But it was never something my parents really watched. They were always kind of like, they'd watch the intro and then they'd change the channel.
Yeah.
Like, it was never something that they, like, stuck around to watch.
They weren't really focusing on your parents' demographic, I'm just going to say.
No, That's
But
probably true. And Mad TV. I used to watch Mad TV.
Mad TV was a little bit more
Raunchy?
kind of, raunchy than SNL, but there was a couple of good skits on there too. What's his name? Will
Forte?
Not Will
No.
Forte, but he did Kenny Rogers' Jackass.
Oh, yeah. That was funny. No, and then there was, who's the lady? There's another lady that was on Mad TV. She's a little blonde lady. She's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then Alex Borstein.
Yep.
She's hilarious too.
Which, by the way, we need to watch Miss Maisel.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it.
I got through like the first season. I'm like, I
I'll
love
do it.
this.
I'll
So
do it.
number one, okay, so there's a couple different shows that are my favorite. Can I just say real quick? Time period pieces that sort of imagine like a historical event that like a historical period in a city that I just don't know. Like, it doesn't matter what it's about. Like Mad Men, loved it. The
My
show where
daughter's pouting because she wants me to go put her Snow White dress on.
yeah, and Okay.
I'm sorry, parenting.
Mid thought.
I'm sorry. This is the life we lead with children. It's constant interruption and losing your train of thought. My daughter is wanting to play dress up and put on a Snow White dress that my grandma made for me when I was 5, and this dress is now almost 35 years old, 36, and it's got patches and stuff, but it's crazy because my grandma made it for me and it's held up pretty well. It's kind of cool to see my daughter put it on because I like lived in this thing for like a couple years as a child. So it's just really funny to see my daughter running around with this dress on because it's made really well. Thank you, Grandma Freeman. She's no longer with us, but I am grateful for that because it's a really cool thing to see. What did you want to say, Riley?
I always see her wear it a lot when you're like playing. Yeah.
You guys like to play dress up, huh?
Yeah.
And pretend.
Yeah.
What are some of the games you guys play?
We sometimes play restaurant. Robber.
Robert,
Mom.
who's the robber?
It's me.
Oh, a life of crime at 8 years old. Uh-oh.
And then we play mom and dad sometimes.
I used to play a game called Man and Cat.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you still play Man and Cat?
Sometimes.
Who's the man and who's the cat?
I was the cat.
You were the cat and Juju was the man?
Yeah.
How is Juliet a man though?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's getting a costume on right now. Can you go with her?
Yep. I think it's time to go check out some of that stuff we just talked about. All right, so here you go. Mid-thought.
her snow.
I just talked about that.
Yeah, her Snow White dress didn't fit through her
Her
cast.
That's a bummer.
But all right, what was I talking about?
You were talking about
Favorite types of shows. Yeah, so period pieces. Like, is that a phrase? Period pieces.
Yeah, period piece.
Okay. So like, if it's set in a time period that like I don't know much about, but it's imagined by some writers and performed by actors, I like that. Mad Men was great. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is like kind of the same sort of thing. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's set a little bit before
the 50s. Yeah.
Maybe
it's more like the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, I think it's more 60s.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then the show we're watching right now with Steve Buscemi in the Prohibition era on Staten Island. I'll talk more about
Boardwalk
that.
Empire.
Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah.
But that's one, probably my second favorite kind of thing. And then the first, like most favorite type would be like sci-fi and sort of like mind-bending ones. There was a guy on TikTok that would rate his most favorite mind-bending shows, and then
I remember we went down the list.
yeah, and most of those were really good. There was the time travel one, there was the Korean one where there was the something in the other room and we didn't know what was going on, but then there's like twists. Yeah,
Parasite. That was
yeah,
a good movie.
kind of what I wish M. Night Shyamalan would be still to this day.
M.
But
Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie Old? I'm kind of curious, but I'm also kind of like, I know I'd be disappointed. Like,
is it a newer movie?
It's an M. Night Shyamalan.
Like newer? Or?
Yeah, it's a newer one. It's like they're on this island, and if the sun
hang on.
hits them, they're old or something. They age like incredibly fast, and I'm like half curious, but I'm also like, am I just gonna be super disappointed by this? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like his movies are always kind of hit or miss. Like there's never an in between. It's either really good or really, really stinking horrible. Yes, ma'am. Got a ballerina in my backyard. Okay, go do your ballet.
So,
Aren't you cold?
No. Okay. It's hot out here.
All right.
reminds me, I need to call her gymnastics.
I thought about that, yeah.
Because she can't do gymnastics with a broken wrist.
That's true. Probably
We
a
need to
terrible
get some
idea.
pictures of this.
I know.
Hey, Juju, I think Riley's getting some costumes too, so you better help him. But, anyways,
Yeah.
anything else going on?
No, I just going to the wine festival today with some ladies. It's one of those things. I feel like I'm being interviewed. It's like I feel like it's a working interview. No, I was invited to the wine festival with some acquaintances. So I'm like friends of a friend kind of situation.
Yeah.
And one of them happens to be married to a guy friend of mine from high school. So I have never really hung out with his wife, and she's going to go. And then
Did you tell them you're not really drinking though?
they know I'm not. Yeah, they know I can't. I actually double checked last night. So this is how old I am. Like, I can't drink anymore. I think I've talked about this, but I'm taking a medication that literally has like a black box label on it. So it's like, do not drink with this medicine. You will have a seizure. And I double checked last night. I'm like, can I have anything with this? And it's like, no. So I was like, oh, fun. Okay. But I'm going to the wine festival with some ladies that I haven't really hung out with like a lot at all. So I'm like excited. It's going to be nice. It's always nice to meet other people that are in the same part of life as you and be invited to those things. So I'm going to go hang out. I like the environment anyway. So even if I can't drink, I'm still just going to hang. I'll just be the DD, but yeah.
Last time, is it the Bernalillo one or is it the
I
one?
believe it's the one at Balloon Fiesta Park.
Okay. I never went to that one. I went to the one in September in Bernalillo.
Same. We went, do you remember we went with when Luke was like a toddler and it was like hot and we were
Yeah.
just like,
And you
this
kept
is
running into people you knew.
stupid. Yeah.
I imagine you'll probably see some people you know. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
No,
Maybe people have moved away or
I
what.
haven't gone to like a wine festival in like years, so I have no idea what I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So.
it'll be nice. It's just kind of one of those things where as a woman you hang out with other women that you don't know very well and you're like, is this like a friendship interview? Or are we like trying
It's
to
also nice to just start to socialize a bit. We've been very, very busy and ingrained in our work. For me, it's budget season, so it's the end of the fiscal year, and I'm reviewing tons and tons of budgets, and it's our days are blacked out, so we can't really take any time. And you've been really busy, and your work doesn't really allow you to take any time. So I
Yeah.
think it's nice to have that sort of break to
Hey, Dad,
have some socialization. Yeah, buddy.
do you work for the school budget for us,
Yep,
for our school?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So, but it's nice. I think this morning when I was cooking breakfast, I was thinking about we have kids around us
I know it's
all over.
they're always there.
All right, can you guys?
all
Can
Because
you
we're
guys?
here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of yard over there. Like, can you guys go over
Part
there
of the
real
reason
quick?
we bought this house is so you guys could play in the yard, not around us.
Go
to the swing.
Just don't break another arm, okay?
Okay, your choices are the forest, the playhouse, the swing, the hammock.
This is not a broken arm.
Broken wrist. Okay. She's very technical.
Yeah.
But no, I was thinking about this morning. I was cooking breakfast and making coffee. Luke was on Xbox, and kids are with you. You guys are watching old videos on Google Photos, and
I got jumped on by
Yeah.
children, like
Yeah.
pummeled.
so you guys,
I was like sleeping soundly and I was like relaxed, and then all of a sudden I was like,
yeah, they do that. So I was a little ringneck dove. Yeah.
I try to fill up the bird feeders for them in the water.
And I in the morning when I set the sprinklers, I make sure the sprinkler kind of dips a little water in there. But anyways, I was making breakfast. You guys are in there doing your thing. Luke's in the living room doing his thing, and then that "Washed Out" song comes on, the intro from Portlandia.
Yeah.
And every time, I know for you, there was a moment of time when that song would come on and like it would like make you cry because
Yeah.
you had like this longing or feeling or whatever.
Homesickness.
Yeah. But it came on this morning and it made me think about Portland. I'm like, man, Portland was pretty great. It is pretty great. And it's got its issues, also and stuff, and it just had a fond feeling or whatever. But one thing that I was thinking about too is it's also really nice to have a community and friends and just to not feel like
Please go play.
not to
I
feel
love
like
you,
that
but I need
unsettled
you to go
feeling, you
play.
know?
Yeah.
So I felt like a sense of gratitude. I don't know.
I feel a sense of being suffocated
Yeah.
right now. But no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that that's been something that we've been really intentional about is being here, trying to cultivate that sense of community and friendships, especially post-COVID. I think that COVID changed friendships and relationships and how you interact with people a lot, actually. Excuse me. And it's been kind of weird. Like, it just seems like people are not as I don't know what the phrase. They're not as willing, or they weren't. I feel like it's changing now, but right after COVID, they weren't as willing to hang out or like engage in social activities. It was more just like social obligations, but not like anything above that. And now people are more willing to hang out, and so we've been trying to cultivate like friendships and just community. And now that we have a house, it's a little bit easier. We can actually like invite people over and host people and do that, and sort of build our friendships and our community the way we want to. And that's something that I know I missed since before COVID. I mean, we had a sense of that before COVID, with people, but gosh, COVID really messed stuff up.
Yeah, it did. We had,
weird.
well, I was also trying to think about that situation or scenario before. Most of our relationships, I think, and friendships were centered around like our church at the time. So we had a group that would meet out in Rio Rancho. We were totally like not, I don't want to say totally not aligned, but there were a lot of things that we were not aligned with that we didn't realize.
It's almost like you sacrifice your theology for the social connections. And that's where we were at. I feel like we were willing to kind of sacrifice our own thoughts or theologies because we were like, we just want to have like a community.
Yeah, we were so desperate for that, and I think humans in general are. And I remember like we had a community group. I'm doing quote, I guess that's what they call it. Community group. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I haven't had my ADHD meds today.
I did.
Oh, good.
I did.
La 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 la.
So we had our community group meeting. They were on Tuesdays, and it happened to be the 2016 election. Oh, God. And I remember that taking place, and it was, Hillary Clinton, obviously, and Donald Trump, one of the biggest events in modern history.
Cosmic jokes.
Not even just U.S. history, but like world history. And I remember seeing people like not upset. And I was like,
I just remember us being like, we were like in shock, and we were like, is this real life? Like, this isn't real. This is they're gonna say this was a mistake or something.
Yeah. but like the people in the room with us, I kind of expected them to be a little bit upset.
Or
like
appalled,
not like you have to like support.
Like questioning the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Or like
this guy's a reality TV star, and like his character, like blah blah blah, like everything is like just not right. And then you guys are not upset about this.
Like there was no commentary, and Lorenzo and I were like visibly like troubled by it, and like everyone else is like, yeah, so the election, crazy. Well, that's a good thing Hillary didn't win. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
so
I don't care where you lean, but like, what?
Yeah, so that was a little bit of a shift. And then after that, we kind of, I think we continued to hang out with them for a couple more years. And then we just,
again, like I think we modified ourselves to make them comfortable, when in reality, they never really made the effort to understand maybe why we didn't agree.
Right.
I felt like we were constantly doing the modifying.
Yeah. And then even before that and after that, we were always sort of like the people that would, yeah.
They can't stand on that, it'll break.
We were sort of the ones that would sort of question things when we were in discussion, and I think even after that, it sort of continued. But the relationships were still fine. But yeah, before COVID, friendships were centered around church. I think we had like, yeah, I see him. Our cat's trying to escape.
He's like rolling around and trying to open the door, and he's like so dramatic about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then COVID, and then all of a sudden we had our neighbors across the street, Will and Amanda, who would, we would like sit. Do you remember sitting on our curbs across the street?
Yeah, we would have like 4:00 happy hour because we didn't know what else to do. There was like nothing to do. So we literally I bought a bubble machine, like a industrial bubble machine that you would use for like a wedding on Amazon. That was like my first major Amazon purchase actually because of COVID. I bought a bubble machine, and I was like, well, what can we do? So I bought a ton of chalk, sidewalk chalk, and a bubble machine. And we put our lawn chairs out on the porch, and then they came out to their driveway, and we were on our driveway, and we had like happy hour at like 4:00 every day. I'd turn on the bubble machine for the kids so they could all have bubbles, across the street and everything. And we would just hang out.
Do our thing.
In the distance.
Yeah. And I remember Jenny gave us a bunch of booze. And so we had like, I don't know, a handle of gin, a handle of whiskey,
We had
like just a
so
bunch
much
of really, because they had a lot of booze and they got rid of it. And for me, I'm like, yeah, heck yeah, it's COVID and I'm at home all the time.
They knew somebody who was in the liquor industry, and so they would just get these random cases of booze. And they're like, we can't drink all this, and we were like, well, we'll help you.
Yeah, so
and so we'd just like drop off a bottle to our neighbor's house on the porch. Like,
yeah.
I
Well,
made like
You gave your dad some gin, I think.
some gin, some really good gin, and then I, what was that? Oh, and I bought I'm gonna butcher Aperol. It was like it's like an aperitif. It's like an orange. Do you remember that Italian orange spritzer drink that I made?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like I learned how to make them because I was like, well, I have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And we have this stuff. I'm gonna make them, and so
Yeah.
I'd make like Aperols, and I'd like we'd have like drinks and stuff. But you know what I was thinking about the other day is I wonder if because of COVID, like that sort of solidified our friendship with them a little bit more in a stronger
Yeah.
way because they were at our house when everything was shutting down. I remember we had them over for dessert one night, and that's when everything, like we were watching the news as we were having dessert, and they were shutting things down one by one, and we were looking at each other like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
and then we got the news like school shut down indefinitely, and we were like,
Yeah.
what?
There was 3 events, and I don't want to go back and relive COVID, but there were 3 events for me that were like landmark in my memory. So, number 1, I remember kind of tracking this a little bit, and I remember telling you and your brother because you guys were doing interviews for What's Up ABQ, and you guys were, I think, were at NYPD, the pizza shop downtown. And I'm like, hey, this virus is starting to be a pretty big deal. Like a plane landed in California and they had positive cases and we don't know what's going on with it. And, maybe a couple of deaths have been reported.
I remember
So,
he and I eating outside that day because we
yeah.
were paranoid.
And I was like, hey, you guys need to be careful.
We ate outside in the fresh air, like
Yeah.
away from people because we were like,
And then I remember telling you guys, like, hey, maybe you guys should maybe pause your interviews scheduled because I was like right in the middle of like when you guys started to get pretty busy.
we gained a lot of traction. Well, we had people like requesting interviews, and we were
Yeah.
trying to squeeze everybody in left and right, and it
Yeah.
just like kind of blew up.
By the way, there's more emails. I've been checking email and I've been responding.
Okay, yeah,
But,
we have a lot. To do.
Yeah, so there's that. And then the other one, we were hanging out with Dane and Ladette. They came, I think, for a concert. They had some friends or cousins or family with them. And we were eating at that,
Noodle bar downtown.
noodle bar downtown. And on the news, it started talking about it. And I remember saying, like, I think this is kind of a big
It was
deal.
tennis. They came to see tennis.
Was that
Remember?
tennis?
That was tennis, and we went, and that was the last show I saw before COVID with you.
I thought tennis was after COVID.
No.
So that, and then there was a third, but I guess it wasn't that landmark. So
Well, the crazy thing, because I remember like Will and Amanda came over for dessert that night, and I remember kind of like the tone felt different. I remember going to the grocery store to pick up dessert, and it was like very, like excuse me, like apocalyptic almost. Like I was in the store, people were like, you could see them like quietly panicking. I could see people loading up their carts. I remember going to the aisle with the bottled water and it was gone. I remember looking for toilet paper while I was there because we just needed some. Gone.
Yeah.
And then I remember like I grabbed like a dessert, and it was weird because everything that was perishable was gone.
yeah.
And then the only thing left in the canned aisle was like a couple cans of beans. And I remember grabbing them because I was just like, it was like-
Albertsons?
no, it was Smith's on Paseo. I just remember thinking like, I guess if everybody else is doing this, I should grab something. Like,
Yeah.
and I just remember thinking like, this is probably just going to blow over, but it's still weird because people are here and they're kind of like panicking a little. So I bought the dessert, and then we came home, and then everything started shutting down.
Yeah.
And I remember like, when the news was like, schools are shut down, this is a serious virus, you need to stay with your families and isolate. I remember them saying like, well, I guess we should go home then. And so they finished their cake and they went across the street, and it was like, we didn't see them like in person in our proximity, because it was like, that was the moment where it was like, you need to go home, stay home, don't leave your house, don't go anywhere, don't socialize with people outside of your family. Like, do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I remember the panic too. And there was a point, I think maybe like a week or two after that, where we still couldn't find toilet paper. And then I started to get worried because I'm like, okay, that's kind of an essential item.
Right.
Like we need toilet paper, and I don't know who told. I think it was my mom. She's like, yeah, go to Shamrock, and they'll give you some toilet paper. I mean, they won't give you; you have to pay for it. But they were selling toilet papers by like 4 individual rolls. Like Shamrock is like they
Janitorial and industrial supply.
yeah. So they supply like if you have a
Restaurants or
restaurants or
facilities.
school
Yeah.
or whatever. So we got like 4 rolls at a time.
They were like rationing.
Yeah, and there was a line.
Yeah.
But they had it.
Right.
Target, Walmart, nobody had it. Like it was just kind of crazy. But
Well, I remember like I remember us running out of toilet paper, and my mom was like, "We have a big thing. I'll just bring a couple rolls," and she left them on the porch in a bag. And I just remember thinking, "Oh, thank goodness we're okay for a little bit." But then I remember thinking same thing, like, "Okay, what do we do?" Do you remember? I think at one point we were like saving like paper bags, like grocery bags that we had in case. I remember this.
that.
I remember thinking like, okay, if we have to cut up the paper grocery bags, like we can use that for a little bit.
yeah.
Like I remember like thinking around like, okay, what do we have around here that we could potentially use right now? And then like baby wipes, I remember being like, okay, we have
Yeah.
some baby wipes that could work.
Yeah.
Like I remember like thinking around this issue, like how are we going to solve this?
Yeah. And so as a result, friendships went out the window. We were kind of out of church as it was, sort of like I mean, at least I was.
We were on
and
our way out for sure.
yeah,
at that point.
I remember there was, I don't even know. Well, I guess I'll just say, it. I remember, and I helped with the sound. I volunteered with sound, and I remember like a couple of women came in and they were visiting, and they were a couple. I don't know. That was the beginning, but
Yeah.
n-
They were-
I
there was-
don't want to speculate exactly how they were received. I wanted them to be received with love, and I don't know if that happened. But
They were, but then when they asked to get married, they were like, "Oh no, we're not going to marry you." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "So you're willing to like put on this facade of like you're welcome here, but then when they want to get married and be committed in their relationship, you're going to deny them?" Like that's some fraudulent
Yeah.
bullshit, really.
so I don't want to. I don't know the whole story, so I don't want to speculate. But it felt not great. Like we need to be open with our love, and I don't think it was. And so that was like a piece of the puzzle, I guess, for me to sort of like maybe want to leave. But then it wasn't enough. Maybe it probably should have been.
That's enough for me.
It wasn't enough at the time, but then COVID happened literally in that same time frame,
natural
and then
exit
I was
point.
like, okay, cool, yeah, I think I'm done. And then we literally didn't go to church for like 3 years, and it was fine.
Well, I went during our time in Portland. I went to St. John's.
St. John's. Shout out, Dave.
Yeah, which I love St. John's in Portland and St. John's, Portland area.
Yeah, they
They
did a lot of
are-
work in the community.
The most like salt of the earth, like legit, like affirming people. And that was like, I was like, you know what? This is the kind of faith that I can have, that I agree with. And until I don't agree with it, I will show up. And I still agree with it. And
Yeah.
I really appreciated their genuineness and their openness and willingness to like take us in.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, like we were already starting to be a little bit lonely in Albuquerque, and then we came to Portland, and then we were super lonely. And then you reached out to them, and they're like, "Yeah, come to our church. We'll have some coffee. Like we have coffee pot coffee. We give you like a Disney mug and some creamer, and let's drink some coffee and
chill.
chill." And we immediately were like, "Hey, sorry, we're like oversharers. We will spill our guts." And Dave's like, "Yeah, me too." We're like, "Okay, cool."
Cool people.
Yeah.
Got it. No, I miss those guys. And that was like the one reprieve from like loneliness in Portland for me, was like on Sundays, like you were working. And so it was like a really long day for us, because it was like I was home with the kids. There was no school. We didn't have any plans because there was nothing to do, no one to hang out with. Things were closed. But St. John's would have like a kids like activity in the afternoons. And so they'd do like an art project, or they do something with the kids, and they'd space them out and make them wear masks and stuff. But like they would do an activity, and I had like an hour and a half to just have to myself to do whatever I wanted, And
That was
so
probably so nice.
it was very nice. And so I'd go with the guys from St. John's, and we would go to the brewery.
You drank at the time,
I did, yeah, because I could.
not like You weren't like just drinking all the time, but like
No,
you,
like I'd
you would have
beer
a
with
beer.
them. Like we'd have a beer. We'd go to this. There's this one bakery called Sparrow Coffee and Bakery. That place was pretty good in St. John's. I'm trying Breakside Brewing, in St. John's, and then the St. John's Beer Porch when the summer hit and when the weather was nice. But we used to. I mean, yeah, we used to just like walk and we'd go walk to the brewery. It was just a block away. Hang out, grab some food, and socialize, and it just felt so good to like have that human to human conversation and contact.
Yeah.
And it was so simple, but it really did make
Yeah.
a huge imprint.
And we needed that. And I wish I had Sundays off. I could have hung out with you guys. I wanted to hang out with you guys so bad. Sundays were the worst, but it was good to have that. And then you had your friends. Your friend, you reconnected with your friend.
Gabby?
No, Brenna.
Oh, Brenna, yeah.
And they came over I think once, and I loved hanging out with
Twice.
Jeff twice.
They
Je-
helped
Jeff
me out.
was
I had
Jeff
a job
was
interview, and they like watched the kids for me on a whim, and I was like, oh my god, thank you.
yeah. So it was great hanging out with them.
Yeah.
We had a couple of
They're
people.
in Spokane now.
They were the only couple that I hung out with while we were there,
Mm-hmm.
and you had a couple of other friends that you reached out to and hung out with. Gabby and
Yeah, my friend Gabby.
I think
I love Christina.
Christina you hung out with a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but now, that was a roundabout conversation to get to now. But now, it felt really great when we had what was the event when we had some friends come over?
Recently,
Yeah, we had a bunch of people come over.
we just had people come over because.
Was it just
why not?
because?
Just because.
Oh, I thought it was just one event.
No.
No, but that was great, and I enjoyed that, and I loved hosting people.
Mm-hmm.
Next time I'm gonna buy more hamburger meat, but I loved hosting people.
It was-
yeah.
One of those things where I invited like one couple, and I was like, oh hell, let's just invite everybody that we
Yeah.
know. And then everybody showed up, and I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
This is like a shindig now.
Yeah, and I have a little tiny bullet grill that I was trying to grill all the hot dogs and all the burgers, and yeah, I need to get my gas grill going. But anyways, it was fun.
Good though, and we actually have the space and the ability to have people over now and not, feel crunched or like because our old house that we were renting was great for small, like for us. I mean, it was even crunched for 5 people.
Yeah, it did not fit us completely, but it
so
was
even having people over was like a struggle, and we didn't have any place to like have people sit down and eat or like.
Yeah.
It was just so hard to.
And the way that it was situated, it was difficult to figure out a way to get to the backyard because there was a door to the backyard, but it was in our bedroom.
Right.
And then you could go out the front yard, but then you had to go around through a gate, and it was just.
And it was like somebody else's casita on the other side. Yeah, it was just. But anyway, point being, like we can do that now, and I feel like we've landed in our space, and like we can have friends over, we can chill. Like it's a good thing. It's a nice vibe, and I love it.
And for me, I'm re-falling in love with my home state. A lot of people who grow up in New Mexico, they develop this sort of like hatred for the state, or like I don't know what it is, but a lot of people grow up in New Mexico and then they leave for a lot of different reasons, economically, whatever. Like Colorado's to the north, Arizona, Texas. We border some states that are very economically like doing just fine. New Mexico, on the other hand, has been kind of lagging for forever, so it's hard.
I have a theory on that. We talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, but as I'm driving on my commute every day, I get to see the landscape of this state in the mornings and then the evenings. And yeah, there's some things I don't like. Drivers in this state are
They are the
bonkers and stupid, and I've seen multiple like near miss accidents, and I've been caught up in traffic jams that were caused from accidents, probably from stupid things. But anyways, that's besides the point. The landscape and the natural beauty is like unmatched, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No, I think it's all about how you like your perspective, what you're willing to invest back into where you are. Any place can suck without the right situation. I mean, for me, like yeah, Portland was physically beautiful, but it sucked. It was lonely as hell.
yeah, it was lonely for sure, and it was expensive. Like, I was optimistic that okay, I'm getting into this company, starting off like I can start making some money and I can get a house, but like at the same time, if I want to live in Portland, it's gonna be an uphill battle.
I'm gonna retire in Rockaway Beach, Oregon someday, and that's totally doable.
Yeah,
That's the end game for me. Someday when I'm
Yeah.
an old lady, I'm gonna be living on the Oregon coast,
and you're gonna have family there.
and I'm gonna have family there. And we're going back to visit this summer. My cousin's getting married, so that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the beach.
And
Yeah.
we're gonna eat ice cream.
We're going to go to the little ice cream shop. I told you
Yeah.
to do that. And in the summertime, they always have the big they have the big kites out on the beach, which is really, really cool, like the 4 or 5 man kites.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun.
Nice.
And they also have like butterfly, like kite wings.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to just build life here and then look to the future and just build something good.
Yeah. Same.
And I wanted to wrap up by saying
Well, we didn't do our what are you listening to?
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Can you go? I love you.
Juju.
Go play. Okay, go play, please. Thank you. I wanted to wrap up this part of the conversation
Oh.
because I do need to get ready for the day.
Yeah, I know. That's what I wanted to wrap up too.
And I'm looking at my legs and they're really hairy, so I probably need to shave them.
If you made it this far in the podcast, you deserve
I
to
just
know that.
no, I mean like for real. Like I don't know if you've ever
But
seen
they're
like
so-
Sasquatch in the summer,
But they're so light. Like
yeah, but it's still gross. It's still burly.
like you can't tell because
as
you're
hell.
blonde.
I know, but I don't like it. I can tell. Anyway, enough about my leg hair. No, I think the thing that's cool is the house we live in now that we bought here in Albuquerque. It's in an older neighborhood. There's established trees. The people that lived here before, they had it built when it was brand new in 1977, and they lived here for 45 years.
Yeah.
So they built something here, and they grew their family here, and then they
took care of it.
They took care of it, and they're on the next phase of their life. And so it's nice to see that they left that legacy, and it's something that we get to like pick up on because
Yeah.
we're growing our family here, and
Exactly.
it's the perfect place to do that. And they set it up to be perfect for that.
And so I'm a tree person, and there are 3 trees that probably my favorite. It's this, I don't know what kind of tree it is. I think it's like an elm or something. It's not the Chinese elms
It doesn't matter.
it does matter to me. It does matter to me. It's not the Chinese elms that Carrie Tingley planted, but the other elm. There's what is that?
I don't know what that is.
He's annoyed.
No, I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of gross fir tree that I hate.
Oh, you don't like that tree?
No.
I love that tree.
Makes me sneeze.
It's it's like a pine tree.
It's not like a pine tree. It's like not like an Oregon pine tree. It's
No.
like a New Mexico scraggly ass ghetto pine tree.
Damn, dude.
It just makes me sneeze. Okay.
And then there's a spruce. I think it's a blue spruce because it has like blue pine needles. So love those. There's a turtle that lives in our house too.
In our yard.
So it's great. What are you listening to?
I don't know. I don't have my phone with me. Do I? Oh, I do.
It's right here.
Who knew? I'm listening to a couple podcasts right now. I'm gonna pull them up. So I've been listening. I've been listening to one called The Opportunist, which is about people who become horrible people based solely on the fact that they have the opportunity to. It's an interesting podcast. Like people who have like authority or power, or they have an opportunity to take advantage of something, so they do. So that's what it's about. I also listen to Pretend, which is another one. Pretend is a podcast that talks about people who are pretending to be somebody else. And the guy, I think his name is Javier Leiva, the guy that narrates it. He does a phenomenal job. There's something about his narration style that is so good. Like his journalistic style is so good. Like the story itself is good, but the way he narrates it and researches it and presents it is like phenomenal. Like really cool. I also continue to listen to Was I in a Cult? And there's another one called Nobody Should Believe Me. This one is definitely an interesting podcast. Nobody Should Believe Me is about Munchausen by proxy. So it's definitely not a podcast you should listen to if that kind of stuff bothers you, or it's really, because it is kind of disturbing. But it kind of dives into the cases that have been known, the psychology, and how to spot it, which is a really interesting concept to me. Can you go play, please, for a minute? I just need a little bit of space, okay? Just a little bit of space. I love her, but she's like in my ear and in my face, like I can't even breathe. It's like mom suffocation. Jeez Louise, I'm sorry, you guys. It's just sometimes I need space. I'm trying to look at my other podcast really quick. I'm trying to find the one that I listened to. Oh, and then I've been listening to the Exorcism Files, which is super weird, but
Is that the one we listened to?
Yes.
They have more episodes?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, dang.
So I've been doing a lot of that, and then as far as music goes, I've been kind of in a music. I don't want to say slump because I like the music I'm listening to, but like it's just the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of Jungle. They actually have a new single out, which is great because I love Jungle. They're great. I listen to a band called Kowloon. There's a song called Wake Up that's really good. What else? If you want to get weird, there's a song called The Violent by Carol's Daughter. It's kind of interesting. There's a band called Future Islands, which I like a lot. I think I've mentioned them before, but I listen to them. I go through phases where I listen to Future Islands like all the time and then not at all for a couple months.
Yeah.
And then there is another band that I... Oops, my bad. A band called Rolling Blackouts Coastal Fever. Yeah, Rolling Blackouts Coastal Fever. I can't talk. And the song is called French Press. I really like that one. And then I was going to shout out one more band, and I can't find it on here. It's going to drive me crazy, too. Well, if it comes to me, I'll let you know. But kind of the same old stuff. I feel kind of lame, but I really haven't, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't ventured out much lately. I feel like I've kind of not had the time to.
Also on our music apps, it's easy just to play the super mix or whatever. And
Yeah,
just
which I do a lot.
Yeah.
And
it just plays the same songs over and
I know.
over.
It's like, you like this. You're like, yeah, like one time I
Yeah.
said that.
And there's a Discover playlist, but I've tried that and I'm like, I don't really like any of these.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I would like to discover some new bands. I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm kind of tired of the same old.
Yeah.
We bought tickets to Smashing Pumpkins though,
Yep.
which is exciting, and they're coming with Interpol.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's gonna be phenomenal.
That's cool.
Probably gonna take the day after off
Yeah.
for that. It's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm not really reading anything per se. I just finished a semester of school, and I was gonna take summer school, and then I was like, no,
Take it off.
not gonna do it.
Yep.
I did buy Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. I plan on reading that. I've heard it's really good. So I bought my own copy, and I'm going to read that pretty soon.
In the hammock.
Hopefully.
So
What are you listening to?
same thing with music. It's sort of stagnant, but I have been sort of going back in time and rediscovering some albums that I loved in high school. So one of those bands is called Bouncing Souls. Our kids are crazy.
I'm like over this already.
Yeah. Hang on.
Oh my god.
Hold this real quick.
Okay. This is one of those days where I am so happy to be able to go to the wine festival where there will be not my children. I love my kids a lot. Do I love how they've been the last 2 days? Not really. It's ridiculous. It's that parental burnout where you're just like, no more. Like, I can't. And that's what like earlier, my daughter was like right up in my business, and I'm like, please go away. Like, let me breathe by myself. You know, she's like the kind that will sit there while you're in the bathroom and be like, Mom. And you're like, do you not understand that I'm in the bathroom right now? Like, I'll talk to you when I'm done. Leave me alone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So Bouncing Souls, a lot of the...
God, I love kids. And the cat just got out, and now it's a shit show over here. Oh, the joys of parenthood. So much joy. So much fun and reward. So rewarding.
The downward spiral of parents.
What time is it? 9:27?
Yeah.
Wants a drink? Just kidding.
You're right.
Wish I could.
Yeah,
Today
so
would be the day.
old music, not a whole lot of new thing, nothing to talk about, I guess. Podcasts, I've been listening to business podcasts. So there's a Wondery podcast, which they have something good going on over there. Wondery. One's called Business Movers, and listen to the stories of Nike, listen to the story of Walmart, Apple, and I'm going to keep going, and you probably listen to some more. But that got me to listening to American history. Same host, Lindsay something is his name. Lindsey Graham, I think. I'm not sure.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and I've been listening to Audible books. I'm listening to Bless Me Ultima, which is a classic New Mexican book by Rudolfo Anaya. And it was required reading in 11th grade. I didn't read it. I still passed. I don't know how. But it's a really good book. And there was a 2013 movie I found out, which is on Hulu. And I want to watch it after I read the book. I don't know if you'd be willing to, but the story is actually really good. And as I'm listening to this book, I'm thinking somebody needs to make this movie, but like do it well. So I hope it was good. It's a good movie, but that's about it. I think shows. We're watching Beef,
Yeah.
which is
I actually love it.
it's great. It's shot really great. You can relate to like their sort of like angst and like.
It's like repressed adult angst at life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. He drives to
It's kind
Tacoma.
of cathartic, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're using words I don't understand.
You should Google it.
I'll ask what do you call it? ChatGPT.
I've been watching a show on Netflix. It's kind of older, but it's called You. It's like my guilty pleasure show, and it's ridiculous, but I love it.
I thought Bridgerton was your guilty pleasure.
Well, I already went through all those episodes. Well, it kind of is. I don't know. This season of Bridgerton is sort of just blah. Like
Yeah.
it's been played out.
I feel like they take the HBO sort of angle and they just like have
They do.
gratuitous sex just because.
Kind of. I don't know. I think the storylines are getting a little bit redundant, if we're being honest. But like, it's something about the way they mix like modern and that era to kind of produce something. It's kind of like The Great. It's similar in that respect. So I can appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, is it a cinematic masterpiece? No.
Yeah.
Is it junk food for your mind? Yes. But no, the show You is really interesting. I don't want to give it away, but it's my guilty pleasure show right now.
Nice.
And then I watch a show called Undercover Underage, which is a docuseries based on SOSA, which is an organization that takes down child sex trafficking. And they basically catch like predators online and stuff. And it's really interesting, like the way that they do it. Their strategies are really intense.
Is it true the To Catch a Predator host ended up being a predator himself?
I don't know. I think they caught one of their own people. I don't know if it was him exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And we're also watching Boardwalk Empire. And then we're watching another show. What show was it? Oh, with Chris O'Dowd.
Oh,
Big Door Prize. Yeah, Apple TV. Apple TV's getting a little bit better actually. And it's like $7 a month. Netflix is on my shit list right now because they're making people like not share their password, which okay, your business, I get it. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna pay for Netflix. I don't know, maybe I will. We already pay for so much. I'm just like I can't. I gotta steal this password.
I literally subscribed to AMC again just because I wanted to finish the show Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
We have AMC. I'll get that set up on your phone.
That's a really good show too. It's only 2 seasons. I think it's not for a mainstream audience, but it's really well done if you understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay.
Are we watching anything else? I think we're good. All right. Well, hope you have a good weekend, everybody. Memorial Day. I don't know.
Sanity.
Depending on when I post this, I might edit it in a month. Who knows? 2 months. We'll see. But have a good day.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to shave my legs.